All right, good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday, June 25th. This is Taylor kicking off the pre-market prep on a potentially brand new all-time high day. So for the QQQ, you get the previous highs at 540.81, and right now in the pre-market, we are about a dollar above those highs. Then a little bit bigger, we do have a daily squeeze here. All right, squeeze, white arrow, the perfect score of 15. All of the bells and whistles for a big breakout. So it's obviously a pretty big spot here. Could be a case of they gap it up, they pump it, they fire that daily squeeze long. They might want QQQ 545, 550. Could also be a case of they pop it through the all-time high, and if they do dip it back and work it back lower, I think until things change in a big fashion, it's a dip I would buy on a 1-hour time frame or 30-minute, all the above. Which, if you look at the hourly QQQ, they gap it into, call it 542. You're about three and a half ATR above your hourly 21. So it could be a case of they gap it up, they pump it, they push through the all-time high. And then maybe before that daily squeeze fires, they kick back to an hourly 21, they hold it, you jump in, you buy it. And then for the S&Ps in the pre-market, looking like 607.90-ish. So we'll call it 608 for good measure. And the all-time here for the all-time high here for the SPY is a little bit closer to 614. SPY's got a little work to do. But yeah, index is sharp here, and then on the Big 10 sheet, or the Big 3 sheet rather, Big 10, very, very strong rankings. Until they're not. At the close yesterday, you had the indexes with 85% of their best score. Mainly a QQQ S&P thing, but Dow Jones was 78. The Russell was 67. They're not too bad. And then you got communications, XLK, the ARK ETF, industrials, the semiconductors, financials. They've all got a score of 90% or better. And then utilities is pretty good. Real estate shaping up. Got XLY, the transports, Bitcoin. Few things that are a little bit more neutral. That'd be silver, materials, XLP, gold, biotech. And then the oddballs out would be healthcare and energy, a little bit more negative. And then on the Big 10 basket, you got Netflix, Meta, Broadcom, TSM, NVIDIA, and Microsoft, all at 90% or better. Then there's Tesla at 72%, Amazon at 60%, and then Apple and Google, little negative. And let me show you guys the master list here. All right, so we have, I think, 201 names here on the master list. No, we have 198. And out of 198 names, right now about 78 of them have a score of 70% or better. Right, that means you're taking your weekly chart, you're taking your 3-day time frame, 2-day time frame. You're taking each of these 8 time frames with your best score for one time frame being 15. So, Spotify here, you've got a 15 on the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2, the 4, all the way up to that weekly chart. That gives you a perfect score of 120. It's pretty impressive, actually. In a normal market call it, you'll maybe have 15, 20, 25 names. Right now, we got a good 78. So a few that I'm liking. Let's go talk Snowflake here first. All right, so we had jumped in and bought some Snowflake on Monday. And you had the daily squeeze of your white arrow. You had an hourly squeeze on a white arrow. There was, I believe, a 30-minute and a white arrow. And there might have been a 15. Yeah, a little 15-minute action back there. But really good example of that nice multi-time frame squeeze setup. 15-minute shaping up, got the 30, got the 1, got the daily. And then from an indicator point of view, if they all have the white arrow, They've got really good momentum. They got the structure, all the trend criteria. And then the third kicker is you're doing that in a relative strength name. So, for example, if you take the 1 hour chart, nice squeeze, good structure, got momentum, white arrow, perfect scores. You can find that on a lot of things. Really, any given day, you'll find your 5 minute squeezes, 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly. It's not too hard to find that moment in time. It's a little bit more a matter of, can I find that moment in time? Beautiful 30-minute squeeze, beautiful 15-minute daily squeeze. Can I find that on a name showing signs of relative strength? My definition of relative strength being, hey, from a weekly chart all the way down to the 30-minute chart, run it through the trend criteria, take it through the structure criteria, momentum criteria, top to bottom, everything's pretty bullish. All right, so we could maybe go find a really nice 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly squeeze in a name like Apple, a name like Google. We could find one in XLP, gold, biotech. And yeah, it might be a really good looking 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly squeeze. Over the course of every 25, 50, 100 trades you take, if you can take that same 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze in a Spotify, Palantir, IBM, DoorDash, JP Morgan, I think it makes a huge difference. But all right, anywho, a few things here off of the rankings. So we had bought some Snowflake back on Monday. What did we buy? We bought the 215 calls for a few weeks out at 390, and then caught the gap up and sold them for about 830. A little bit better than a double. And then we bought some NVIDIA before the close. The great NVIDIA. Okay, so there's a call wall here at 150. When you think call wall, think magnetic and think I think Dikembe Mutombo. If you're a basketball fan, you know Dikembe Mutombo. All right, NVIDIA trades 148. You've got a call wall at 150. And then you find the really solid end of day 15-minute squeeze. All you guys and gals who follow Henry loves the end of day 15-minute. All right, but you find that at, say, 148-ish. You've got the call wall at 150. Initially out of that 15-minute squeeze, that 150 level can be very magnetic. All right, come on up, water's warm. We're waiting for you at 150. When they get there, it can be a giant brick wall. Like big pump, big breakout. Oh boy, here comes NVIDIA. 150 to the dot, and then the end of the push. So I found them really helpful as far as trying to build out a quote-unquote roadmap. All right, why am I going to buy NVIDIA? And before we're looking at the chart, I got to check my rankings, and NVIDIA has 97% of its best score. All right, way better than Google, way better than Apple and Amazon and Tesla. It's better than healthcare, energy, biotech, gold, silver. Very respectable score. All right, it grades out nicely on the big three sheet. Then I take that name, then I try to find that squeeze. All right, I find it on my 15-minute. Then I want to go check where's the call wall. And if it's a situation where I'm buying it at 148 and the call wall's at 148, that can be a little tricky. I'm jumping in, getting long at what might be pretty tough level of resistance to get through. In this example, if we can buy it $2, $3, $4 below the call wall, even if that's all you catch, you're long at 148, you cash out at 150. On a shorter dated option, it's a nice paycheck. So we bought the 148 calls for Friday, and looking like 149.50 here in the pre-market. So my thinking here, guys, is we're going to take the profit at the open and then move on to a different pasture. And don't get me wrong, they can gap it up. They can get to 150. They can go to 155, 190. If they get it and keep it and close it above 150, Okay, cool. Then you come and look for a different trade. But yeah, so there's that. We took profit on the Snowflake. We had got some NVIDIA. And then another name I like here would be Crowd. I am a fan of the Crowd. So for this one, you have a daily 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute, 5-minute squeeze. With the star of the show being, of course, your daily squeeze. 15 points, white arrow, A plus setup. There's a call ball here at 150. Not 150. There's a call ball here at 500. So here's one where if you pop that into 500, if I'm thinking bigger picture swing trade, I want to take a decent position size. I want to give it maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks to expiration. Or a better way to look at it, if I want to play for that daily squeeze move, what would that daily squeeze move look like? They have it in compression. You buy it at your 21 EMA. Squeeze fires, and you're taking profit somewhere near that 2.5 to third ATR. 520, 525-ish. So if that's the quote unquote roadmap, buy it at the mean, cash out at 2.5 to 3. If it's a call wall at 500, that's a level we got to deal with. And if I buy a Delta 70 call for 45 days out, and all I catch is a move from 485 into 500, it'll be a decent paycheck, but not a huge bang for my buck. If I instead say, all right, I'm going to try to buy it on a 30-minute white arrow, I'm going to do that with a shorter daily call, then play for a push in the 500. That can make for a great bang for your buck. So I found them really helpful as far as context. If I have a daily squeeze at 480 and a call wall at 520, all right, I'm jumping in. I'm buying a little bit more than usual, trying to play for a good $20, $30 path higher. But anywho, I like Crowd. And then next up is Palantir. Good looking daily chart, and then a squeeze here on the 4-hour and the 2-hour. Then you have the Palo and the Alto. Nice 4-hour squeeze and a nice 2-hour squeeze. And I believe a call wall at 210. Ample room to run. From there, we can jump to shop. The theme across the board right now is pretty much you got good looking monthly charts, weekly charts, you got daily squeezes, and you also have a lot of hourly charts about 2.5 to 3 ATR above their buy zone. So when I look at a shop, we have really solid daily squeeze, white arrow. Nothing about that will change if they pull it back into 111. Big pop off the bottom, big rip off the squeeze, push, push, push. All right, now you're a little bit stretched, maybe a little bit overbought. If they kick it back down to an hourly 21, it's your normal healthy reversion to the mean, the ebbing and the flowing. Point being, if I'm going to jump in today and buy calls based on that daily squeeze, in terms of my sizing, in terms of time till expiration, the structure of the trade, I can't be getting shaken out. I can't be uncomfortable. If I'm buying that daily squeeze at 114-ish and they pull it back to 112, 111. If I buy QQQ at the open for a daily squeeze swing trade, looking for 550, 555-ish, I can't get shaken out. I can't be uncomfortable. If they got to kick it back into 535. Now, I want to take profit on NVIDIA at the open, but if I were a buyer of NVIDIA at the open, yeah, if I like it at 149, if I like it at the hourly third ATR, with 15 points, all the trend, the structure, momentum, I should like all those same things back down to 146 near the buy zone. it might look a little bit stronger up here. Risk reward wise, it's a much better entry down here. So that is kind of the short-term theme here at the all-time highs. But yeah, you got a 4-hour and a 2-hour squeeze for Palantir, a daily squeeze in Crowd, a daily squeeze in Shop, and then I would also keep an eye on a few of the bank stocks. Very nice pop here in the XLF yesterday. Not really a today conversation, but more of a moving forward conversation. If they could take the daily squeeze here on the XLF and break that long, you should get good continuation plays in a JP Morgan, a BAC, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all the above. By continuation plays, I mean you're buying it on a pullback to an hourly 21 EMA. You're buying 15-minute squeezes, buying 30-minute, all of the bullish things. But all right, y'all, that is the bulk of what I got for you. Cashed out on Snowflake, took profit on the cashed out on Snowflake, bought some NVIDIA, watching Palantir, watching Crowd, watching Shop, watching Palo Alto, watching the banks, and more importantly, watching the QQQ at what might be, let's check the quote, if it can stick, what will be a brand new all-time high. Mind you, with a very good-looking daily squeeze behind it. Shall not be dull. And then futures-wise, Bitcoin looking a lot better. Not sure if you guys are watching Coin, but Coin's been on just a little bit of a tear. Bitcoin. So a couple of observations here. You get a positive cross on momentum down here on the MACD bar. Right, they hook it positive and they kick off a leg higher. And they pull it back, they chop it, and then during the chop, you get a negative cross. MACD bars are back below zero. You still have really good trend. You still have really good structure. When you lack momentum, they pop it and they pull it back in. They pop it, they flush it. But these can get pretty interesting where if they can keep good trend and good structure. And, a simple way to look at that might be they're above their daily 21 EMA. If they can at least keep price above their daily 21 EMA, if they can then go get that momentum shift, cross is positive, big leg higher, cross is bearish, big chop, cross is positive again, could make for a slingshot squeeze. Pull back on price, pull back on momentum, and then snap it back up. Buy signals on the 4-hour chart, the 2, the 1, the 30, and the 15. Ooh, now the 2-day squeeze here. Got that look in her eyes. 15 points, white arrow, momentum. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. But all right, y'all, any questions for me, any chart requests, drop them in the chat. I'll get caught up, see what you got, and then folks in my room, folks in the MTT room, I'll be taking you through the open. Ideally with an NVIDIA paycheck in the back pocket. What's the high here? NVIDIA all-time high at 153. Very, very sneakily, a few things are not too far from their all-time high now. NVIDIA's not too far off. QQQ might be at 1. Microsoft just keeps on making new highs. And then what about Meta? Meta trades 712, all-time high, 740. 717 in the pre-market. Amazon. Room to run. Google, plenty of room to run. Apple, whole lot of room to run. Hey, good morning, Michael. How does Morgan look? Very, very good. Morgan Stanley. Yeah, looks really, really good. No squeeze setting up right now. You had a daily squeeze back here. I think you had a 1 hour. Yeah. Like a lot of things out there, they have a 1 hour squeeze into Monday's close. And then by Tuesday's open, they gap it up and off she goes. Let's go check the rankings here, shall we? And Morgan would be, yeah, cream of the crop, 97% of its strongest score. So till that changes, I would watch it and I look for a fresh 15-minute squeeze, a fresh 30-minute. Wait for your next 1 hour squeeze, 2 hour squeeze. And if it keeps on cranking out that kind of score, those kinds of things should work pretty good. Buy it on a 15, buy it on a 30. All the squeeze in action. Hey, what's up, CZ? Good to see you. JEF. Hefe. Okay, so earnings are after the close. I would buy the XLF for now. If my goal was get long financials, I would buy the XLF. I would buy JP Morgan. I buy anything without earnings today or tomorrow. And then get through earnings, then see what's up with JEF. Because it could be a case of, we go and get long Jeff. We get long Heffrey. And then Heffrey gaps down. But then meanwhile, there goes the XLF. They break out their daily squeeze. Here goes Goldman. Here goes JP Morgan. Here goes Morgan. And all of, all the Hefe's brothers and sisters. Earnings can definitely ruin a good time. So I would pass on that one until earnings and then, focus a little bit more on XLF, Morgan, BAC, those names until you're through the announcement. Yeah, Michael, I don't think a bad one to be assigned shares on. Not at all. Good morning, Jim. Jim says, I think we can get another 40 points on coin. Yeah, let's go pull up some coin here. Now, I said it half joking. Ha ha ha. But when I do put credit spreads, whether it be Nvidia, a Tesla, a coin, they tend to have a knack to then go on and make a huge move. The kind of move where you're sitting there thinking, man, I wish I had a Delta 20 call. And not this modest put credit spread. We did that on that candle. And, here's a 40% rally. Just one time, guys. I want to buy a call and catch a 40% rally. But yeah, coins in beast mode right now. Now you're about maybe 5 or 6 ATR above your daily 21. Not that I'm calling for an $80 pullback or anything. Coin is a stronger example, but again, it's kind of the same thing across the board. Weekly charts look awesome. Daily charts look awesome. We got a bunch of good structure, momentum, a lot of buy signals. But we are at a point where a pullback to a 30-minute, 15-minute, or an hourly 21 EMA on the indexes, on coin, on Nvidia, etc. Point for point percentage-wise, on coin that'd be it's like a 9% pullback. So really think about that. You could buy coin yesterday. You jump in, buy a call at the close. Now the gap in the bad boy up $20. So that's ideal, of course. But point being, you could have bought it at the close. They then could have gapped it down about 10% on you today. Nothing changes. You'll still have a 1 hour buy trigger. You'll still have great structure, momentum, trend. It'd be a 10% gap down. You might want to jump in and think about buying. And that's all fine and dandy. But if you're in here and you're doing, 390 call for Friday's expiration, you got 10, 15, 20% of your account in that trade. That quote unquote normal healthy pullback can get a little uncomfortable. The thinking should be, hey, coin is just strong as hell right now. I'm going to find the spot to buy it. I'm going to jump in. I'll get long. But if it does pull back to a 15-minute, 30-minute hourly 21, I'm going to make sure I'm comfortable. Position sizing, time till expiration, all of the variables. But yeah, all that being said, here comes another $20 gap up. Beastly, I tell you. Beastly. Yeah, so SS. Let me go find a video real quick on the call wall and the put wall levels. Let me do a YouTube search for simpler trading spot gamma. If I can't find it, I'll try to find it later. Yeah, I can't find the video. Let me show you spot gamma. And I don't have any personal affiliation with them. I know Henry's done some work with them. JC's done some work with them. I am just a fan of the product. But all right, so if we go look at NVIDIA, for example, and I'll give you a very basic explanation. All right, so here for NVIDIA on the equity hub, right now we have a call wall at 150 and a put wall at 142. So that initially tells me two things, or one thing. Two things. 150 could be a big level of resistance. 142 could be a big level of support. At the same time, they could both be very magnetic. The market opens, NVIDIA's got some sell signals, it trades at 145. Yeah, if you're at 145 with sell signals and you got a put wall at 142, they might want to work it down towards that 142. When they get there, that might be a decent level of support. In my example here, I'm buying it at about 148-ish. A couple of dollars below that magnetic call wall. So for my 15-minute squeeze trade, it makes first for my target. But now in the pre-market, we trade 149.80. In most cases on the gap up, 150 would be all she wrote. It might be a really strong day, but in most cases, you buy it at 148, call wall at 150. They get price somewhere in that overall neighborhood. And that does tend to be the easy part of that initial pop. Then you would check tomorrow and say, all right, have they taken the call wall from 150 now into 160? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to look for another 15-minute squeeze, a 30-minute, a 1 hour. Try to build out a roadmap for a trade into 160. I think it was Palantir. Let me check. Yep. So going back, let me see. Was it Palantir? I believe it was Palantir. Back here, you had a 140 call wall. Or it might have been 138, but anywho, sets up with a very bullish 30-minute squeeze. About, we'll call it $4 or $5 below the call wall. You can jump in, you can buy that, and you aim to take your profit near that call wall level. And they chop it, they can't get through, finally get through. And now I think your call wall is 143. And the price action kind of looks like your call wall would be 143. And if we jump back here to, let's see, Palantir, 143 call wall since the 18th. All right, well here's the 18th. 143, 143, 142, 142, and they close it a little bit above that 143 yesterday. They haven't, however, popped it into 145, 150. But yeah, basic little rundown for you there. For me, again, it's just context. Am I buying it from? Am I buying it near a level that could be very magnetic? Am I buying it at a brick wall of resistance? For me, it's been very helpful. But all right, y'all, I got a jet here. Got to take the folks in the main room through the open. So again, as a recap, you got a QQQ at an all-time high. If they don't drop the ball in the next 12 and a half minutes, and there's a very bullish daily squeeze behind it. So putting aside the all-time high, which of course is a big level, could be a good bit of back and forth there. Putting aside the all-time high, we would typically take that daily squeeze, and you're looking for a move into about 548, 550, which I do think they could do. The question would be, do they gap it up? They keep it above the high, and we're just gunning towards that level, or is it a little bit more? They poke their head above the high, they work it back in, market pulls back. The dip before the 4th of July rally. We'll find out, guys. But all right, thank y'all again. Much appreciated. Hope you have a great day, and I will catch up with you same time, same channel on Monday. Adios, y'all.